Honorable greetings to you, my fellow royals of planet Earth, of Tamerika, of Kairi, of Alubera, and all place else. Okay, so as we know, right now, presently in motion, Parliament has been dissolved. Okay, and what it means for Parliament to dissolve is that all positions that has been held by respective beings are terminated. So all businesses and everything else that has been occurring in the form of representation for constituencies and such is no longer occurring. It has come to an end. All right. And with this coming to an end, it will be that way until another general election. Okay. So with this, in my response, I do hereby send out a public notice. A notice to one is a notice to all. All right, and this is regarding the entire circumstance of a dissolved parliament, and myself being Indigenous sovereign diplomat, as well as goddess, queen, chieftess, mother of all nations of planet Earth, as well as Tamerika, and also Kairi and Alubera, do hereby send out this public notice. That is a notice for one, which is a notice to all. I want you all to share it as well too, to spread the awareness of my declaration regarding the whole standpoint, as I am natural government. The royal family of Kairi and Alubera is a natural government. The nation of Tamerika is a natural government. The indigenous beings of planet Earth, in which whom I represent, are a natural government as well too. So in this approach, as I stand firm as natural government, I do hereby read, based on the Indigenous Peoples Declaration, Section 4, Article 11, where it speaks on the right to autonomy or self-government. So it is as follows. Indigenous peoples, in exercising their right to self-determination, have their right to autonomy or self-government in matters relating to their internal and local affairs, as well as ways and means for financing the autonomous functions. 2. Indigenous peoples have the right to maintain and develop their own decision-making institutions. They also have right to participate in decision-making in matters which would affect their rights. They may do so directly through their representatives and in accordance with their own norms, procedures, and traditions. They also have the right to equal opportunities in accessing and participating fully and effectively as peoples in all national institutions and forums, including deliberative bodies. All right, so Section 4, Article 12 reads, Indigenous peoples have the right to promote, develop, and maintain their institutional structures and their distinctive customs, spirituality, traditions, procedures, practices, and in the cases where they exist, judicial systems or customs in accordance with the international rights standard. Number 2 of Section 4, Article 12, Indigenous law and legal systems shall be recognized and respected by national, regional, and international legal systems. Matters concerning Indigenous individuals or their rights or interests in the jurisdiction of each state shall be conducted in such a way as to afford Indigenous individuals the right to full representation with dignity and equality before the law. Consequently, they are entitled without discrimination to equal protection and benefit of the law, including the use of linguistic and cultural interpreters. Okay? So number 4, states shall take effective measures in conjunction with Indigenous peoples to ensure the implementation of this article. So what I have read here, referring to the Indigenous Declaration Order, is where I am saying in full that the natural government, which is who we are, the royal family of Kairi and Alubera, and I, myself, who is Chieftess, who is goddess, who is queen, as well as sovereign governor general, do stand and declare that with this dissolving of parliament, my government shall stand and rise and assume the jurisdiction and position to take control of our people and our nation here in Kairi and Alubera. I address this to all members of the incorporated government state, regardless of parliament dissolving, the members who are there in the positions of government officials. I address this to you. So fellow members of the government, as well as including members of the Tobago House of Assembly, as well as including members of the United States government, as well as the Canadian government. I address this to all global leaders as well too, where I, Her Highest Imperial Majesty, Goddess MDA Trinity L, also known as Tamerika Maha'Bal, do hereby declare, decree, and proclaim that in this occurrence of a dissolved parliament here in Misomner, Trinidad and Tobago, I, Her Highest Imperial Majesty, do stand in the respective jurisdiction of natural law, tribal law, divine law, and also indigenous law to represent my fellow royal beings and all tribes existing on the scope of our motherland. All right. So with no parliament in existence at present and no official being able to operate and represent their constituencies, I stand here now to make it aware that I am now the representative in the jurisdiction of natural law, tribal law, indigenous law, and also divine law to represent all the peoples, all my royal beings, all my indigenous beings, as we are now operating in the order of the natural law, in the order of the tribal law, in the order of the indigenous law, as well as in the order of the divine law. Okay? As recipient right and as well as allodial title owner of land, air, water, space laws, I do hold the jurisdiction as such in natural governance with respects to operating full as the matriarch and mother of my nation. Okay, so addressing to fellow member Stuart Young and the rest of his team, as well as opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the rest of her team, as well as Mr. Farley Chavez Augustine and the rest of his team, do hereby acknowledge that this notice, this public notice to one, is a notice to all. So I ask you, my fellow royal beings, share this video, make it aware, make it known that with this dissolving of the parliaments, the order of jurisdiction moving ahead now from this moment, as of today, 19th March 2025, I am the representative in natural law operating in my natural government state, all right, as indigenous sovereign diplomat, Her Highest Imperial Majesty, Goddess MDA Trinity L, also known as Tamerika Maha'Bal. Okay, so please share it, make it aware. This is my address to all members of the incorporated government sector. I am now the representative, my apologies, for my natural government, in my natural government, operating as such, and the Trinitarian order is where I use as my guiding principle. Democracy is not our system of governance, and it doesn't apply to us, as well as the Misomner Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago doesn't apply to my fellow royal beings, my fellow indigenous beings of Kairi Alubera. Okay, so much appreciation, and I do look forward to also communicating with you, my fellow royal beings. Feel free to share, and also feel free to contact and reach out to me to gain more awareness of this natural government. All right, this is where we are, assuming our jurisdiction in full as the royal beings of our motherland. Okay, I am the natural government, and this is where I declare, decree, and proclaim in full.